What is going on, everyone? It is a new month, and that of course means it is time to head back to the eShop and take a look at 5 more fantastic eShop hidden gems that you can score for under 25 bucks and add to your digital collection on the Switch. What's going on, everyone? I'm Jay, the channel Square Pegs. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because when you are a subscriber, you get input on the channel. Like for this video here, I asked you guys last month your favorite spooky eShop games, and some of them have made the cut. Let's head over to the Switch and take a look. What better way to kick off the best of the Nintendo eShop hidden gems for the month of October than by going with a game inspired by Castlevania and developed by one of the key creative minds behind some of the best games in that series, Koji Igarashi. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon from Inti Creates is just that game, featuring incredible 8-bit inspired graphics and gameplay reminiscent of the classic entries in the Castlevania series. Curse of the Moon is a fantastic throwback to those excellent NES classics, with a particular wink and a nod to Castlevania 3. You play as Zangetsu, a cursed swordsman, but you're also able to swap out to other characters as you play: Miriam, Alfred, and Gable. If you've played Ritual of the Night, you know who Miriam is. Gameplay is classic Castlevania goodness, with challenging enemies, progression pathing choices, and difficult environment maneuverability to master and enjoy. It's a reverent and respectful tribute to a fantastic series, with gorgeous graphics on both the characters and environments, music that revels in its spookiness with chiptunes that up the creep factor, and sound effects that feel just familiar enough to fans of Castlevania that you'd swear you're playing a lost version of an entry that you've been lucky enough to find. It's a wonderful, challenging, and ultimately incredible game that serves as a tribute while standing firmly on its own 2 feet, creating a tentpole for a franchise that has become synonymous with spookiness and Halloween. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon can be found on the eShop for a regular price of $9.99, but it frequently goes on sale for 50% off. So toss this one on a wish list and grab it for next to nothing. Going now from Bloodstained, a game inspired by Konami's Castlevania, to Skeletak, a fantastic Metroidvania game published by Konami and developed by Yakuza. Skeletak is a kind of perfect eShop game. It's not a super long affair, clocking it at around 8 hours if you want 100% the whole thing, but not so short that you feel like you've wasted your money on it. And graphically it looks great, with a wildly cartoony presentation, menacing bad guys, gorgeous environments, and an often overlooked quality to presentation. Easy to read text in both handheld and docked mode. The sound of the game is magnificent, with a fully orchestral score that jumps everywhere from spooky Danny Elfman-inspired music to a fast-paced and jazzy layout. It's all over the place while somehow blending together perfectly to lay down a soundtrack that is as perfect as it gets. But where the game excels the most is in the gameplay. Now, I hesitate to call this a traditional action platformer, as there's a lot of twitchy control in play here. Think of this more as a blend of the precision platforming of something like Super Meat Boy and Celeste, paired with the combat of Ghouls and Ghosts, and the visual presentation of Cuphead. It's a wild mix of ingredients that, like its soundtrack, just flows together perfectly. I will tell you there's a lot of frustration and repeated death in this game. You need to be exact as you proceed through, and it's really tough to be precise when you're dodging enemy attacks or avoiding environmental hazards, but it is super rewarding when you finally do. Skeletak is normally a $20 game, and it's worth that $20, but you'll be able to find it on sale from time to time for anywhere from $5 to $10. Alright, it is finally time for me to include Hollow Knight from Team Cherry on the list of, and I use this term very loosely when it comes to this title, hidden gems for the Nintendo eShop. Yes, I freely admit that this is not a game that I got into when I first played it, but I will say that is a decidedly more me thing than a condemnation of the title. My friend Corey qualifies this as a melancholy-vania, one in a trend of games that has released within the last few years that's a bit more somber in tone than other games of its ilk, and I think that might just be where the disconnect was for me with regards to it. I wasn't quite in the right headspace. I needed bright and cheery at the time, but being in a better mental state now than I was then, I'm enjoying the hell out of this one. Hollow Knight is, simply put, gorgeous. With an art style that is deceptively simple in appearance because of the more monochromatic presentation of the game, the traditionally animated characters just spring to life on the screen. A massive array of enemies will keep you on your toes as you progress throughout the title, and the customization you're able to give your character as you play via charms, skills, and abilities will allow you to tailor the game to the way you want to play it. Outside of the very introduction to the game, Hollow Knight has a completely open and vast interconnected world that you're free to explore in any way you wish, rewarding you for your ingenuity and technique as you play, but punishing you for hubris and overconfidence as you proceed farther than you should have based on your current abilities. There's also some choice quasi-cartography gameplay in hand here as well. You're able to purchase different things to help you map out and plot your way through the twisting and turning cavernous landscape before you. I freely admit that I was wrong on this one, and I am seriously happy to be playing it now. Maybe it's the mental health, maybe it's the change in weather, maybe it's the advent of Halloween, but Hollow Knight
is speaking to me now in a way that it didn't before. It's a bargain price too at $15. It doesn't seem to go on sale too often, but when I picked it up, I believe I paid just under $10 for it. So if you're at all on the fence on this one, it's worth tossing onto your wish list. Man, it is always a treat for me to play a game from WayForward, but getting a WayForward reimagining of one of their classic games from the early 2010s on a modern console, that is a huge treat. Bloodrayne Betrayal First Bites is just that game. WayForward did their take on the classic Bloodrayne series, and they've gone back and remastered it for today's consoles. A platforming hack-and-slash game, Betrayal is a bloody, violent, and vampiric romp through 15 levels as Rain rips, tears, and feeds her way through wave after wave of bad guys. Graphically, it's WayForward at their absolute best. Gorgeously animated with over-the-top on-screen effects, fantastic lighting and stage layout, and signature character appearances that are faithful to the original Bloodrayne source material, while still being 100% WayForward. Gameplay is straightforward and fun. Much like their take on the Thor DS game, you're going to proceed through levels, fight a wave of enemies on a locked screen, and then keep moving forward. It's deceptively simple. Of course, you'll be fighting hundreds of enemies per stage, balancing all-out assault against feeding on your victims to maintain your health, as well as trying to keep out of the UV lighting that's set up to keep your health from draining faster than you can refill it. It's a grisly balancing act, all set to a thumping soundtrack and magnificent voice acting featuring the brilliant Laura Bailey as Rain and Troy Baker as her father Kagan. Brand new on the eShop as of a few weeks ago, you're still in the early stages of release, so no sales to speak of yet, but at $19.99, it's a fun indulgence wrapped up in a violent crimson bow. And finally, I discovered Demons of Astaborg from Neofid Studios via the Immortal John Hancock's video detailing the release that game had on a Mega Drive and Genesis cartridge, and I was thrilled to find out that there was a Switch version of the game as well, because I was absolutely blown away by the visuals of this one. You play as Gareth, the Royal Guard of Astaborg, and your job is to cut your way through wave after wave of monsters on your quest to rid the world of the Demon Lord Zatimus. This game feels like it was discovered on a long-forgotten Genesis development kit, as the design is so faithful to that 16-bit era, it's remarkable. Stage traversal will have you navigating to different levels of both platforms and stage areas, and your combat is as straightforward as jump, slash, and special abilities. And while yeah, that's fairly simple in idea, in practice, the game is wonderfully deep, with mysteries to solve, secrets to uncover, and a backstory to learn. Sound-wise, the game utilizes fantastic chiptune work and great sound effects to immerse you further into the world of Astaborg, and I have had an absolute blast with this one so far. I don't regret paying what I did for the game, which was initially $24.99 a few weeks ago, but interestingly, the game looks as the base price of the game has dropped twice. It's currently at a normal non-sale price of $17.99, and it apparently opened up at a normal price of $29.99. But keep an eye on this one. I think you'll dig it if you have an affinity for the Genesis.
There you have it, my friends. 5 more fantastic eShop hidden gems you can add to your collection that are not going to break the bank, that will not cost you over $25 a piece, and all of them have a Halloween theme. Now, you're not getting Thanksgiving next month, you're not getting Christmas the month after that. Halloween is just so easy to fulfill the requirement for, because there's just so many damn good spooky games out there. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite is, and if there are any you think I overlooked, please hit like, please subscribe if you're new around here, and hey, if you enjoy the work I do, consider becoming a monthly Patreon sponsor like the folks you're seeing on screen right now, as well as checking out our merch. Links to both pages will be in the pinned comment down below. Until next time, folks, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.